The last day for the 335i Sweepstakes is tomorrow. So if you want to get entered to win this car, the Sweepstakes is closing tomorrow, the 30th of September. Every $5 you spend with us, whether it's on performance parts or merchandise, gives you an entry to win the car. Check out the top link in the video description. Get those entries in. Good luck to you guys. Now back to the video. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the vlog. I know we're starting this one kind of a little bit different, but Jeff has been super helpful this morning, helping me disassemble the engine from the transmission because we do have a buyer lined up for the engine. Now, I know what you're thinking. The S54 cannot handle the power with the 2GR, and that's partially correct. The preferred components to use is doing the E153, which is the transmission from the turbo MR2, but because this car was NA, what we decided is instead of going through all the hassle of sourcing turbo hubs, turbo brake setup in the back, turbo transmission, turbo axles, why don't we run it with the S54 and see what happens? I know we're probably gonna blow it up, but hey, it'll be worth it. It'll be fun, and then we can talk about doing some big power upgrades down the road, maybe doing a supercharger setup or a built bottom end, and at that time, we'll upgrade the transmission, upgrade the axles to something that's really high performance. So for now, we're gonna run it. We're gonna hope that it survives. You can see the clutch and flywheel here. Looks kind of OEM to me. And then here's our transmission, which is completely filthy. We're gonna go through and we're gonna clean all this stuff up and make sure it's looking really good so we can mount it onto the 2GR. So we will get all this stuff kind of cleaned up and disassembled, and we'll check back in with you guys in just a little bit.
The next day.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another day of MR2 content. Big Jeff is outside right now cleaning up the engine and cleaning up the rear subframe, and I started taking apart the under panels because we're not gonna have AC in this car. We're gonna remove all that, but there's something that just removed, and I wanted to show you guys. I have never seen this many spiders. There's actually, it looks like either a rat or bird's nest under here. I'm kind of scared to look underneath. Maybe there's black widows, but let's see what's underneath this panel here. Oh my God. Is that a bird? Holy crap. There's a lot of stuff in here. It's pretty gross. Oh, yeah. All right, so that's a lot better. I think I probably removed about 250 spiders that were in here. There was eggs. Oh, there's still an egg there. There's eggs all over the place. There's just webs everywhere, but I got most of them. At least I feel a little bit more confident to work under here. Now, The next thing I'm gonna tackle today is I'm gonna bring the car down and start to clean off the engine bay. As you can see here above where the muffler was, that's like just completely caked with grease. So we'll use some of that gunk degreaser. I'll spray that, maybe let it soak for 15 to 20 minutes, and then scrub all that down. You know, what's interesting about this engine bay is that you really can't see too much of it. There was a bunch of comments about painting the engine bay. In this car, you really don't see too much. So we might paint some of it, either a gray or a flat black or a gloss black or something. I will check back in with you guys in just a little bit. All right guys, so a few days have passed since I last picked up the camera, and I got Victor here helping me film. I wanted to give you guys an update. I didn't want to bore everyone with just tons of cleaning, so let me show you guys what I've been doing. I've removed the coolant pipes that run from the radiator to the back of the engine. The shifter stuff has been removed. Some of the stuff is just kind of dangling now. But this is where I've spent, I guess, most of the time, is if you come into the engine bay. I've tried to remove pretty much everything that I could. I did disconnect the engine harness where you guys told me to in the comment section, so thank you guys for that. It's relatively clean in here. You guys would be so amazed with how dirty it really was, but at least now when you touch it, you don't get super filthy. So we're getting to a point where I can scuff the engine bay and we can paint it. It actually is not gray or silver as I thought it was. It's actually white, which is the original color of the car. So we're definitely gonna paint it. So I gotta mask everything off, scuff everything up, and we're gonna paint the engine bay. Once we get the engine bay all cleaned up, the other thing I'm gonna be tackling is the fuel system. So we're gonna be removing basically all of the stock fuel system. That includes the fuel pump. What's unique about this car is in order to get to the fuel pump, you actually have to drop the entire fuel tank. So the fuel tank runs up here, kind of in the center tunnel. It's like a long fuel tank. The next thing I want to talk about is, let me show you all the cleaning we did. So Big Jeff helped out and Ricky helped out. We got the 2GR all sprayed down, all cleaned up, as well as the S54 transmission. So you guys saw how greasy that thing was? Look at that. So these are from Wilhelm Raceworks, the same guy who made the seat brackets. This right here is a beautiful piece. This is the Y pipe. This is actually a substantial power increase over the factory. And what's cool is it does bolt up to most aftermarket exhausts for the MR2. So it's not like a fully custom, you don't have to run a fully custom exhaust if you don't want to. Take a look at the welds on that. Really nice TIG welding on this. And I love the addition of the flex, very important. Little box here from Wilhelm Raceworks that I have not opened up. So this is the suspension geometry kit from Wilhelm Raceworks for the SW20. I think probably the most common issue is the snap oversteer, and this little kit here is supposed to reduce that dramatically. A couple other boxes here we can quickly go through. Now that we got that out of the way, we got a lot of awesome parts for this build. Two things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna grab some drop cloth and the paint we need to paint the engine bay, and I'm also going to start to drop the fuel tank so we can get to the fuel pump. Now, I do have a fuel pump on order. I don't have it on hand, so I won't be able to install that today, but at least I can get it prepped and ready. We also can basically get the whole undercarriage prepped to be painted as well. So we'll check back in with you guys in a little bit. We'll get that going.
A little later.
All right guys, we're back, and the next step is to drop this fuel tank. So before we do that, I have to get into the cabin, and I have to remove the electrical connections on the fuel pump itself, and I think the level sensor maybe, something like that. So I gotta remove the center console. I'm gonna bring this car down. We'll go ahead and pull that out, and then I just need to unbolt these straps here, front and rear, and make sure that the filler neck is disconnected. So I gotta remove these hose clamps, remove that as well. You know, I guess I might as well remove that completely. That way I can get the engine bay and that whole side nice and clean and ready for paint. So let's go ahead and get it done. right, so I'm removing this for two reasons. One is I have a new shifter on the way, but now we also have access to our fuel level sensor and our fuel pump here. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this clip. Should be two clips here. Yep, here they are. So go ahead and remove these two clips. It looks like a couple of 10mm bolts in there. There we go. Okay, so I got the lid removed from the fuel pump itself and the fuel level sender. Everything is unbolted now, and now we're ready to drop the fuel tank. But before I do, I need to make sure that it is empty. Then we got two more hoses right there that are breather hoses. Then we're ready to drop this thing. So there we go. And that is almost the last thing. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this whole neck system. That way we can paint this corner. But now we have everything removed. I can replace the fuel pump. We can get our new fuel system kind of all in check with our fuel pressure regulator and everything we need from Works. We're ready to paint this engine bay, boys. Let's go. But I wanted to show you guys just a little bit of how much dirt and grease and grime is in this engine bay. Oh, even a bolt. So the entire engine bay is full of this. So I'm gonna make this side look like this side. And I think, boys, everything is now removed and we are ready to prep and paint the engine bay, the underside, and really start to make this thing come together. So now, before we end today's vlog, something that I've been meaning to do, and that is to mock up our Frankenstein Motorworks headers with our Wilhelm Raceworks Y-pipe. I think it's gonna look awesome. And I wanted to ask you guys, because we haven't really talked about this, should I repaint the valve covers? If so, what color should we do? The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna toss on our upper intake manifold, just kind of mock everything up, because I think it's gonna look really awesome. And I'm so excited that we are finally making some awesome progress on this car. If you guys didn't know, we are debuting the car at the MR2 Assemble. That's in 3 weeks. So we have a lot of work to do. There's gonna be a lot more content coming out for the MR2 project. I am definitely 100% gonna need Mickey and Ricky's help to make sure we hit this deadline. So be sure to subscribe, smash the like button. We'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy.